Introducing a new podcast. Karen Hunter is awesome.
If you like me on SiriusXM Urban View Channel 126, you're gonna love me. And Karen Hunter is awesome. Hey, this is Karen Hunter, host of the Karen Hunter Show on SiriusXM's Urban View. Karen Hunter is awesome is an actual podcast to bring heat and energy and knowledge and power. A 1-2 punch that I don't think you get anyplace else. Tell the truth. So check out the podcast wherever you get your podcast. You will not be disappointed.
Karen Hunter is awesome. A new podcast from Karen Hunter.
Reverend Moss is here. Let's go to Jay in Florida. Thank you for calling. Welcome. You're on.
Hi, Karen. First time caller. Been listening to you. Thank you. 2020, bought a car, had Sirius. Girlfriend said, you got to tune in. I tuned in to Joe Madison, and I've been hooked ever since. God bless his soul. Yes. I started out with comments about the Super Bowl, but I've been listening, and I have so enjoyed this conversation. My comment related to the Super Bowl was Kendrick Lamar. I didn't know of Ken. I heard of his name. I'm not too much into rap. My favorite rapper was Tupac. That's the only one I know. But I knew of Kendrick Lamar through the white media, who were speaking about a beef between him and Drake. And when I heard of that, it took me back to Biggie and Tupac, how they played up to the beef and all of that. So that's how I knew of Kendrick. Now, I'm a fan of his. I watched the Super Bowl, and like yourself, I boycott NFL for many reasons. I'm an NBA fan. But my family loves the Super Bowl. I actually cooked for everybody. Everybody came over. We watched the Super Bowl, and I watched the halftime show. I was at awe when he said one thing, that the revolution would be televised. He had me hooked. I am the biggest Gil Scott-Heron, Brian Jackson fan ever. I have a playlist of all that lovely music from back then. The message that he sent out, I love the way you broke that down. But I wanted to ask you, where do you think, or how do you think other Black artists, rappers, have platforms such as his, would pick up and build something from what he did?
Well, number one, and thank you, welcome to the call-in family. Number one, they'd have to have the desire to reteach, and like Kendrick Lamar is a reader. His wordplay, how, his references, and he also pays homage to elders. So, the way he came on stage to get his Grammys and bowed down to Diana Ross, something else is going on in this young man's life that tells me that he is not just a figment of this generation, but he is standing on the shoulders. That Gil Scott-Heron thing told me that. Talked about 40 acres and a mule. Like, he studied history. So for other artists to be able to come into this space, they'd have to have some tertiary knowledge of all of the things to be able to put it in verse over beats and get mustard to do whatever. That other condiment, maybe they'll get ketchup. But yeah, I mean, that, don't you agree? Like, we're sitting here, both of us, you standing on the shoulders of Otis Moss the first and second. I'm a sum total of my ancestors and the people that have poured into me to even awake the desire to want to know these things. This doesn't just happen. Just thinking about how people want to have platforms with no work that has been put in over time. And only time can give you this, right? Only time and sitting at the feet of your grandparents or whatever. Like, these are the things that you carry into your writing. You can't be a great writer unless Toni Morrison spent 20 years at Random House before she wrote her first book. She was in her 40s before she published her first, got her first, and she's uplifted, Angela Davis and Muhammad Ali and everybody, put out the Black Book and all of that. But that woman sat in the soil. She didn't just wake up. Maya Angelou went through some things. I always say, even Oprah, you put her on a pedestal, but my God, she's still crying about the thing that her mother did to her. The things that her mother did to her, had her sleeping outside, the rapes and all of the sexual abuse and all of the stuff, and then having to live with your dad, which is not ideal back then. I'm just saying, Black fathers back in the 50s were not good, in terms of, but that woman's trauma put her in a situation she's not, but that's the sum total. I wouldn't want any of that. So I don't know if we're going to have another Kendrick. Maybe this generation of young people will be inspired to start reading, studying, being more connected and in tune. Maybe it'll inspire somebody, but I don't know. Reverend Moss, do you see somebody on the horizon?
I think that there are quite a few people. There's a young lady from Chicago by the name of No Name. That's her name.
Oh, okay.
No Name.
No Name
is gifted. A gifted lyricist, but she's a poet. She's a spoken word poet who
Rhapsody.
made a choice.
All right, since you're saying it now, and she's a Virgo. Okay, No Name. Fatima Naima Warner from Chicago.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Come on, keep going. She's doing the work. She's doing the work. She really is. There are quite a few international people that are doing the work. Ezra Collective out of London, and they end up featuring a variety of hip hop artists with a live band, a live jazz funk band, is what they're doing. They're lifting up this musical tradition in their work. I think that there are certain people, and it's never going to be the majority because most people are chasing after a check,
right?
And that's the point. Celebrity.
Kendrick is an international phenomenon. Mm-hmm. He is in this generation. Command of the Super Bowl halftime and being able to sell out stadiums and arenas that's the next level. And he's not frivolous.
No.
Do you know what I'm saying?
No.
So that level, yes, there's a lot. Marvin Gaye level.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yes.
I don't know if we're going to see another. Maybe we only get one in a generation that then inspires
I think you only get a few
thousands
in
of
a
others.
generation. Yeah, I think you only get a few in a generation. But the brilliance of Kendrick, which we don't acknowledge enough, is Kendrick's team. That brother got a great team around him. The brother Dave Free, who he partners with, that's his boy, that's his producer, but all of the production concepts, he works it out with a team of people. So we celebrate Kendrick, but there is an entire team that is working to produce all of this stuff. They've been working on this thing for months.
Oh,
I don't know who the choreographer was. I don't know who the one who said we're going to use these colors. I don't know the one who said we're going to use the PlayStation logo. I don't know the one who said let's put Serena in the middle of the X since she is Drake's ex. Who decides to put around? I'm going to put an A around my a chain that's lowercase,
a small a, lowercase,
which is minor.
A minor, yes.
I'm like, this guy's on another level. This guy, they are thoughtful. And then to use Samuel L. Jackson as the ringmaster, Uncle Sam as the quote unquote Uncle Tom, but at the same time, I'm going to be subversive and say what the man up there in the box is probably thinking because we're doing something. They put some work in this thing.
That's my point. That's my point. So all of these beautiful, I'm thinking of D, whatever, the guy that's a math guy that does that, SiriusXM. There are a lot of dope MCs. I'm talking about international superstar who's also unbought and unbossed.
Yes.
He's not tap dancing for massa. He's just not. And he's apparently not worried about his coin because he's like, yeah, I'm probably going to get sued. But say Drake.
Oh my gosh. And smile on his face.
Anyway.
It was next level. And I think Kendrick is more in line probably with Fela Kuti. I think that they fit because of his influence globally. And I think that what Kendrick is doing, he's like, hey, I'm doing art. Kendrick said, y'all can put out stuff. I'm putting out art. I'm gonna put out stuff that people are gonna do classes on, that they're gonna ask questions about. What am I doing?
I'm gonna say no to Fela just because, internationally, I don't know a song where dun, 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 when the beat drops, everybody knows. I don't think everybody knows Fela. like that. I don't think
Well,
if
what
there's
about
a
Marley? Would you say, what about Marley?
Marley,
would you say?
yes, but
Okay.
Marley, yes, Marley, yes. But I would put Marley even in a. Marley was about to. I'm gonna say less about that. I don't know if Kendrick is in the Fed's crosshairs yet. Maybe last night we'll put him in there. You know, Marley was always on a list somewhere. They needed to get rid of him. He had white people, their souls. Kendrick don't give a damn about white people. Like, that's the other thing. I just feel like y'all get in where you fit in. If you want to twerk Taylor Swift, that's fine, but I ain't doing this for you. Twerk if you want.
Introducing a new podcast. Karen Hunter is awesome.
If you like me on SiriusXM Urban View Channel 126, you're gonna love me. And Karen Hunter is awesome. Hey, this is Karen Hunter, host of the Karen Hunter Show on SiriusXM's Urban View. Karen Hunter is awesome is an actual podcast to bring heat and energy and knowledge and power. A 1-2 punch that I don't think you get anyplace else. Tell the truth. So check out the podcast wherever you get your podcast. You will not be disappointed.
Karen Hunter is awesome. A new podcast from Karen Hunter.